Hello, my loves. How are you? I'm back to my normal space, which I'm grateful for, but it feels like the energy that I've been picking up on is very, very much in this energy of transformation. It feels like this shift into the new transformed version of things, but we're also like in this flux where things are still clearing out and the new is still settling in. But when I look at it and when I check in, you can't really put necessarily a finger on the new because there's still so much clearing out. But I have to tell you, some of this feels like old stuff clearing out, but some of it also actually feels much newer, like say maybe in the past few months or past few years. And this is a good thing because when we're getting to this place where we're in the present, right, and our power is in the present, we're able to unravel, release any attachments that might have been keeping us stuck in old timelines. And so, what I'm sensing that the summer solstice and this most recent full moon that we experienced, I believe it was yesterday, those things seem to sort of simultaneously move us out of the old patterns, even the ones that were more recent. I've also been shown that some of those, even though they were in the newer energy, they still had fragments or tethers to some of the old patterns. But this is all okay. It doesn't mean that anybody did anything wrong. It means that we're continuing to grow and evolve and ascend. And so it can be really important for us to give space and grace for the new versions of ourselves, for the new versions of our connections, for the new versions of our relationships and our life and our creations to have space to breathe and sort of expand to their next level. As I'm saying that, they're showing me how, like trees or flowers or bushes, the first year you plant them, they grow a bit. And then they obviously might have a time where they go dormant in the winter or the colder months. And then the next season, they begin to grow and then they grow bigger. So this feels like we're going through a next level of upgrade. But sometimes there's those times of dormancy where you're building your reserves and remineralizing and building up nutrients for the next growth spurt. And for whatever reason, it feels like there is some of us, or potentially many of us, that are going through a process or a segment of this right here and now. Let me know if you've been experiencing this. It's been feeling some of the things I've been witnessing or aware of is sort of this feeling of almost feeling like in limbo or not even being able to really think or process or move forward. It's kind of like just on autopilot, and the body is going through shifts and transformations. And I wanted to share one thing that my higher self expressed to me. Obviously, you take this in whatever way feels correct for you. But I've been working very, very deeply with my physical body over the last few years, especially the past year. And as I took a bit of a break from just giving everything some rest, right? So, rest to manifest, right? It's in the space where we take rest that we give things time to embody. Okay. And as soon as I did this, I had some physical symptoms come up, but I kept checking in. And my higher self and my guidance just kept telling me to relax and to rest and to just chill. And as I have done that, the symptoms or the experiences have been dissipating over time. And so sometimes we have to go and find solutions. And sometimes the solution is to just be and to just rest and to just honor whatever you're experiencing. And I feel like it's important to honor all of those layers, right? Sometimes we're needing more, and sometimes we need less, and sometimes we need something new, and sometimes we just need those old tried and trues, right? So I'm sort of feeling that there is going to be this period of more of a restful phase. And this feels to me that it coincides with the joyful playfulness messages that we've been getting here on the channel. So I know that many of you, if not all of you, have been very, very deep in the work phase, in the transformational phase, in the transmutation phase. And I'm not saying that none of that will be happening, but it feels like we're sort of slowing down the pace of that. We'll still do it. It'll still be part of our repertoire and in the way that our abilities support us in our process. But as we're asking to move into the joy and the playfulness and the fun, there's sort of like a slowing down of the fast-paced work, right? Sort of this rest kind of chill period where your whole system is going to be able to relax, right? And as we move into those states of feeling more relaxed and not needing to work so much and so deep, it allows us to create this space to discover what our joy is, what our fun is, what our playfulness is. Okay. And so if you're asking for that and then you're like, well, nothing's happening or it's not happening fast enough, it's because there's sort of this decelerization space from the intense levels of work that we have been doing, especially over the past 4 years on this planet. So, what's happening is we learned how to work within those energies, or we're still learning, right? But we have enough information that's saying, okay, you guys have learned this, or enough of you have stabilized within some of this information that now we can start to open up the new energy, the new ways of being that are fun and joyful and peaceful and restful and rejuvenating and support joy and happiness and life-giving energies and life-giving ways. Okay. So it's about embracing and opening up this time in this space of allowing things to happen very naturally. Okay. So I believe that we were working at those paces because that was what was necessary at that time. I believe that things are slowing down a little bit and shifting a bit because it's the time and it's makes sense. We're ready for those next steps. What we're learning how to do is to actually genuinely embody true joy, true peace, true playfulness, true energies of flourishing and thriving. And so we are giving this space to land. And as it's landing deeper, as we're bringing it down into our bodies, as we're setting these intentions, along the path, you might hit some sticky spots or some pockets where you're not quite integrated with joy and fun and playfulness. That's okay. You set the intention, you envision those things, you let yourself think about how that will feel, right? And you just acknowledge that it may not be fully integrated right now, or you may experience it for moments and then you're back into like the other pocket. But again, this is the dance of the energies. Okay, loves. So I'm going to get us a few cards to just touch in with on this energy stream that I'm picking up on, because I think it's very important to, again, remember the energy of the space and the grace and to not get hard on yourself because you're not having fun fast enough or because you're not embodying joy fast enough. You're in the process, my loves. Enjoy it while it's present. Honor it when it's not. Take care of yourself, rest, rejuvenate, allow yourself to go through that sort of decelerization process so that you can be present with what we're opening up to now. Okay. The new, the joyful, the fun. Okay. You've been working intensely. Okay. So there's a time for our nervous system to relax and rest from that. My higher self told me, like, give it 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, in the sense that, believe it or not, the work that you've been doing up until this point is going to continue to carry you, and you're going to continue to see results throughout those times of what you've already done. So if you let yourself rest and chill for these 6 weeks, you're going to notice one level of results. And then in 6 months, you're going to be like, oh my gosh, like those things I was working on 6 months ago, 2 years ago, 3 years ago, like all of it's starting to happen. And then you're hitting those next levels, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 years, and you look back and you're like, oh my gosh, everything is completely different, but it's aligning with what I was asking for back then. All of those seeds that you've been planting are in the process of sprouting and growing. And so this is a very important part of the process. So take this however it resonates for you, in whatever way it resonates for you. You're going to know, because as you're asking for your joy and your fun, it's just not something you can force. Okay, loves, we can't force things to be a certain way when they're not. But when we just acknowledge that we're in the middle of this process and we're growing into new levels of true joy, right? True life giving joy, life supportive joy. It shifts things in a whole new way. Okay, let's see what we got. Whoa. It's interesting because you saw it flip out and then it fell on the table face down, and it's harvest, gathering of blessings. This is so perfect for what we're talking about, because it's during this time where we're rest and we're transitioning that we get to begin to experience the harvest of what we've been planting up into this point, just like I just said. And I'm going to get a few cards with that from the regular tarot to see if there's anything else that we can be aware of or to just drop into through this process. Okay, beautiful. So we have the Knight of Cups, and the Knight of Cups is a dreamer, okay? A lover and a dreamer and an idealist, a very romantic, loving energy. He is this energy of being in love with being in love, okay? And it feels important. Actually, I want to get more with this. I want to get more with this. I did pick some other cards, but I feel like this Knight of Cups has more to share with us. Whoa, okay. So it's the Ace of Pentacles, which it feels like there is a new beginning in love energies of the seeds that you've been planting, the things that you've been asking for, like the seeds of love and the new beginning are beginning to sprout. And this is why this time of allowing yourself to be peaceful and rejuvenating and nourishing and nurturing yourself with the intentions of moving into joy is a very powerful time for nurturing seeds of love. This is interesting because the Eight of Swords and the Seven of Swords fell on the table below this new beginning of love. And how it's actually coming through is that this is what's sprouting, this is what's growing, and this Eight of Swords and Seven of Swords is the energy that's clearing out. And it's this energy of feeling disconnected or unheard or unseen. It's what I'm sensing actually is sort of, wow, okay, this energy of where some parts of us were like moving forward and opening our voice, and other parts just felt like, I don't know what is going on. This is so confusing. These are what I'm actually sensing is we might be experiencing a bit of this now, but this is sort of that dance of the recalibration. And what I'm being shown right now is what you're not seeing yet is the results of all of the work that you've been doing. But If we just keep pushing and pushing and pushing and pushing, like I'm not seeing results, so I got to keep working, working, working. This actually just keeps us in the state of work. And so the results don't actually have a space to drop in. So as we're taking this rest and this step back, what's happening is those energies that may have been restricting us from receiving our results are actually unraveling. Beautiful, because now this is speaking to me different. It's like freeing ourselves from the restriction. And what we're not able to see is allowing this energy to open up. It allows for forward movement, believe it or not. Sometimes by being still, you're allowing forward movement to come in. I know that might sound funny, but I want you to sit with it and see what I mean. Because if you're always moving forward, looking for something, but all you're actually needing to do is to just be still, let go of the restrictions and allow it to come to you, right? Allow the chains and the binds and the restrictions to be released. And then all of a sudden, there's this movement forward. The light is shining, the clarity comes in, the communication comes in, the confirmation comes in, and you're able to begin moving forward. Okay, I am still going to go one more into this with this new beginning and just resting to open up and allow the new to come in. Deep, quiet meditation and stillness. There you go, loves. And this feels to me like a true, genuine, receptive, quiet stillness where you're not trying to figure things out and it's not necessary to be doing, just be. And what I mean by that is you might notice when you are in these states of just being, things are happening in the background. You may have thoughts coming up and moving through. You may have emotions coming up and moving through. You may have sensations or discomforts in the body coming up and moving through. You may have experiences or conversations or opportunities that are occurring. Okay. It doesn't mean that everything stops completely. It just means that you're in more of a state of observation and allowing it to show you versus trying to always figure it out. Because this is another skill set to develop. It doesn't mean you were doing it wrong. It means that we're being called into a new skill set of allowing it to just reveal itself through our ability to be in practice receptive energies, my love. Okay. Now, this is going into the next cards of this high priestess that I picked, in that the high priestess energy is very much in her power, very much connected to her higher power, but also in a state of quiet energy, of observation. This is so important, whether you're masculine or feminine. This is a very important skill set to open up to or to enhance, because there was a lot, like we were action taking in society, and then we pulled back and went into hermit mode, and then we came back out. This high priestess is sort of this gorgeous mix of being present and available for opportunities. She's receptive. She's not hiding and hermiting. She's available, but she is just still and quiet and allowing what is meant for her to present itself to her, not because she's not willing to do the work or to have it or to get it, but in her divine, sacred, feminine essence, she is open to allowing the reciprocity to come forward into her life and experience the energies of integration and calibration and collaboration. Okay. And this leads to this energy of this strength card, which I feel like between the high priestess and the strength card, there is some energy that wants to come through. So I'm going to go ahead and pick another card or two or whatever comes out. What would the high priestess like to share? Okay. There is this quiet contemplation of continuing to align with the highest timeline. This new choice or this new opportunity of a shifting gears into a new, more receptive way of being is allowing this rebalancing, this reharmonization, this recalibration of the harmonious energies is what's coming through. It's actually allowing for a deeper state of healing within the nervous system, in that it's wow, okay, this is hitting. So, all the things that we've been learning or are in the process of learning around honoring our nervous system and caring for ourselves and setting healthy boundaries, and all of the action taking we've been experiencing through embodying these processes, this next level of moving into the high priestess receptive energy is allowing us to actually master those energies of quiet contemplation. And it's deeply healing the nervous system, and it's resetting the areas in our system where we still may had some of that overworking energy or that workaholic energy. Well, you know what I mean? And it's not judging what you are doing or how you are doing it. It's mostly noticing about how it's feeling. Do you feel like you have to do it? Do you feel like you have to perform? Do you feel like you have to live up to someone else's expectations? Are you feeling an energy of anxiety, even if it's around something that's positive? Does it mean that maybe it's not quite calibrated yet and it's in this process of releasing some of the older restrictions so that you can move into the next levels? And this strength to me is coming through as we've moved into these next levels. Okay. So, say at the beginning of this transformational process, many of us were running and walling and freezing or chasing anxious, avoidant energies, whatever have you, right? And we were trying to sort through, like, this is not how I want to feel. I know what my intention is, I know what I want to embody, but these energies are up in my system and I have to find a way to work with those. Okay. And many of you have, or you've been deeply in that process. And then it hits a point where you're still having to set boundaries, or things are still coming up in your system, or experiences are still happening in the external world. This doesn't mean you've done something wrong. It means you are ready to strengthen your muscle and your abilities to the next levels. Okay. So, there's this specific pocket that's coming through around where you may be open or having relationships or experiences, and you're feeling guided to take a step back or to take a break or to take a rest. You may have stuff up in your system and you're needing to take a rest. That is not running. Okay. Acknowledging that you need space for yourself is not running. That's there for a reason. Now, if you're shutting people out and closing them off or projecting onto them or blaming them for what you're feeling, then there's still some stuff to work through in your system. But if you're willing to take responsibility for your part of things, that is all you're really needing to focus on. This does not mean you're not in your high priestess, emperor, or empress energies. It means you're strengthening into those in new and deeper ways. I think this is something that's very important for those of us human beings who want to embody certain things. And there's this old belief, it's a very restrictive belief, that we have to be embodying it 100% of the time, all of the time, for it to be true. And what I have learned through my ascension and evolution process is that's actually not true. It's really how you're handling each situation. It's how you're embodying into whatever is presenting for you. Because as long as we're living in this world and we're interacting with other people and we're opening ourselves to new experiences, we're going to have things to learn. Okay, loves? So being open to learning, allowing yourself to open up to the new perspectives that will actually support you in releasing the restrictive beliefs. Okay. And part of that is releasing any restrictive belief that's telling you you're not good enough because you're not doing it a certain way in a certain time for a certain person. Okay, my loves, it's about acknowledging where you actually are, what's actually present, where you're integrated, where you're not, where you're embodying, and where you're not. This is all beautiful because once you have that information, now you know what you want to intend for yourself. And sometimes going in to quiet receptive mode, observing with your boundaries, but still receptive and open is the appropriate energetic move. Okay. So I know I feel like this was a lot. Actually, quite a bit more came through today than I expected, but I haven't been on for a little bit. So it could be that we were just ready for some new energies. Let me know how you guys are doing. Let me know how you're feeling with this. And I hope that you have a beautiful rest of your day. And I will talk to you very soon. All right, loves. Bye.